Now, let's welcome Kirk Skougen, Senior Vice President and General Manager, PC Client Group. 接下来，让我们欢迎英特尔资深副总裁及个人电脑用户端事业群总经理 Mr. Kirk Skougen 进行今天的专题演讲。Welcome, Kirk.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the 105,000 Intel employees, I want to welcome you today to talk about revolutionizing the industry with the two-in-one computing experience. There are three topics I want to talk about today. First, after multiple years, we're here to reinvent computing with the 4th generation core processor, and I'm proud to say it's here today. I want to talk about the revolution we see in two-in-one computing as the PC reinvents itself once again, with Ultrabooks and 4th generation core, and including our new Silvermont products that by the end of the year will bring price points of these two-in-one computing devices down to $399. And then lastly, I want to talk about how we're going to bring human-like senses to Intel-based computing. So let's get started. It was 2 years ago at Computex where we talked about this whole concept of how do you satisfy both the logical side and the creative side of our brains. On the left brain side, we want to be productive and get things done. We want to be in control, safe, and secure. And yet, we're not just consumption human beings, we're creative human beings. We like to create, we like to lose ourselves in seamless, immersive experiences. It's why we learn new languages, it's why we go to art class, it's why we make movies, and not just create movies. But where were we in this 2011-2012 timeframe? You know, from our perspective, the smartphone and the tablet were outstanding and are outstanding consumption devices. And certainly the notebook and the PC has been a great creation and productivity device. But what we saw in our research is there was a big hole in the middle, something that people yearned for. They didn't want to have to carry 2 devices around with them or 3 devices or more to meet that. And so today, I'm happy to represent Intel in launching Intel's 4th generation Intel Core processor. You know, we set a high, tall order out when we set out to invent the 4th generation core processor with our engineers. And I want to say today they've exceeded our expectations. What we're talking about today is the greatest single battery life increase in the history of Intel Corporation. In active mode, we're talking about a 50% increase or more versus the previous generation. In standby and idle, we're talking about 2 to 3 times the standby and idle time, giving you 10 to 13 days of battery life. It's our first system on a chip for PCs in these two-in-one form factors. And once again, we're delivering up to 2 times the graphics performance in ultra-thin form factors. And I think you'll enjoy some of the demonstrations of the amount of effort we put in to graphics and media. If you just look at some of the platforms here, we have hundreds of platforms that are launching starting today, with Ultrabooks coming over the next several months, and vPro-based Ultrabooks coming towards the end of the year. What you can see here from a MyTac platform, this is a voice-ready, all-in-one platform using our mini ITX motherboards. This is a Razer, one of the thinnest gaming machines on the market, from the Razer family. You've got here a Toshiba Altair detachable, or 2-in-1 Ultrabook, for both consumer as well as vPro versions for business. A Twist 2-in-1 platform from Gigabyte. I'll cover these in a minute from Dell and Acer in just a few minutes. An Asus Transformer, which was announced yesterday, which gives you a Core i5 4th generation core experience on Windows 8, but when you detach the screen, it actually runs Android and the entire Android store. This is the new portable all-in-one HP Rove. It's a battery-backed all-in-one, so you can actually take it, drop it on the coffee table, and interface with Windows 8 on all sides of that. It'll be available on June 23rd. We've got a Panasonic Let's Note convertible, 11.6 inch. You can see it here in tent mode, giving you a better access to the touchscreen. And then last but not least, the Dell XPS 12 that will show you kind of a Ferris wheel design. So many different designs. I'll touch more on mechanical innovation, but we've seen, as I said before, more mechanical innovation in the last year than we've seen in the last 10 years. And I hope you'll agree after we're done today. So let me start with where we began. at Computex 2011. We introduced the category, and as Jason said, within a few short months, we had launched and put 21 designs in the market. With third generation core, we ramped to over 140 designs, with more than 40 designs on touch, and launched Windows 8 with a great touch experience. And now in 2013, with the fourth generation core, this is the first chip we designed from the grounds up with the Ultrabook in mind. Everything up until now was a retrofit. It was something we caught mid-flight, but when we designed from the grounds up with Intel, you can see the tremendous battery life and graphics performance. And we truly believe that this two-in-one computing is going to reinvent things over the next several quarters. So what do we mean by two-in-one? Well, it's a tablet when you want it and a laptop when you need it. You no longer need to compromise on bringing two devices with you. We've got the battery life, the thinness, and the weight, and the responsiveness to be able to combine these into one device. So you get the great consumption and the great creation and productivity. And we're going to start by talking about fourth generation Core Ultrabook two-in-ones. But as we get into the second half of 2013, a whole range of products around the Silvermont architecture we'll cover later in my talk. And again, that's going to bring the two-in-one category down into the Celeron and Pentium and even Atom spaces into a price points about $399 as we get into holiday. So I wanted to just show you a couple of these designs and why we feel pretty excited about what's coming over the next few months and as we get into the holiday season. This is the Dell XPS 11 platform. If you guys can do a quick close-up shot, an incredibly thin, just 2.5 pounds and less than 15 millimeter design. It has a quad HD screen. And with a simple fold over, you get an amazing tablet experience, really easy to use in one hand. The Dell XPS 11, fantastic job, available in the second half from Dell. In addition, we've got detachables now coming from Acer. Again, is this a tablet? Is this a PC? It's a future Acer two-in-one detachable. Fantastic IDs, and we're excited about what we see coming from Acer by the end of the year. So a lot of people asked us, where did this two-in-one concept come from? We do about 250,000 end-user interviews a year at Intel Corporation. I wanted to run a video from our Vice President of Research to talk to you a little bit about the research we did in advancing the two-in-one. Run the video, please.
I'm incredibly excited about where we are with two-in-one Ultrabook.
Well, there's one thing about these new two-in-one devices, and that is that consumers, from our research, love the choice that they're going to get. This is new information that we haven't shared with you. It's from over 1,000 people that we've studied in China, in the United States, and in Germany, around their choice of two-in-one form factors. So we showed them tablets, two-in-one devices, traditional clamshells with touch. And what you can see here is about 77% of the people, when given a traditional clamshell or clamshell with touch, a tablet and a two-in-one, after playing with these devices, chose a two-in-one. Now, two-in-ones come in a variety of mechanicals. And what this shows you is that a detachable, where the screen actually removes from the keyboard, was chosen 21% of the time. And a permanently attached keyboard with display was chosen 56% of the time. And 23% of the world said, you know, I'll just stick with my clamshell or I'll just stick with my tablet form factor. Now within that permanently attached category, the good news is that there's a lot of choice. And you can see from the wheel on the right, there's a variety of mechanical form factors, and you don't have to just pick one mechanical. In fact, there's been amazing mechanical innovation in the industry, and this really varies by gender type, by country, etc. You see in the Asus Tai Chi system, which we would call dual screen, preferred by 11% of those folks. The Ferris wheel, which is this Dell XPS 12 here, that very simply, spins and flattens to a tablet, was chosen by just over 24% of the people. Two different sliders made up 36%. The swivel design, which is kind of that traditional, the screen spins that you saw in the video. The folder, like the Panasonic and the Lenovo Yoga, made up the design. So what's exciting here is, based on region, you're going to see a tremendous amount of innovation in this two-in-one category. Now, what's also interesting data that we had from this survey is that 48% of the people that bought a two-in-one, if they had not bought a two-in-one, they would have bought a tablet. So almost 50% of the people that are engaged in these two-in-one experiences, whether you like detachable or convertible two-in-ones, would have bought a tablet had they not seen these two-in-one category. So let me talk a little bit about the industry momentum we're seeing. Ultrabooks, as we said, this is the product that we designed from the grounds up for the Ultrabook. But even in the progress we made in second and third generation Core, we're expecting a 50% increase in volume from 2012 to 2013. Touch is going to go broad with fourth generation Core and with our Silvermont Bay Trail architectures. I think everybody realizes on Windows 8 it's an outstanding touch experience, and the users prefer touch with Windows 8. And so what you can see is, as we go to Haswell, almost every design in the notebook category is going to have the capability for touch, and we're expecting and are tracking over 3 times the number of designs that are touch ready, moving from third generation Core to fourth generation Core. In fact, I was out on BestBuy.com just before the keynote. We're already seeing touch at $529. Now think about that. A year ago I was up on stage at $999 talking about $699 Ultrabooks without touch. And you can go out today, we're exceeding expectations at $599 and even $529 on Best Buy. We're also creating a bow wave underneath it. When we drove the Ultrabook category, we originally had a plan just to make notebooks thin. And since the day we introduced the Ultrabook category, the number of notebooks rather, that are underneath an inch thick now has gone up 18 times. So this is not just about Ultrabook the brand, it's about everything it creates below that. In touch, more than 50% of US retail is touch today. We think that's going to drive a bow wave underneath it in Celeron, Pentium, and Atom. And next will be two-in-one designs. I wanted to give you a preview of the momentum we're seeing around this new category as we reinvent the PC. As you went into this year, you should have seen about 5 designs that we classify as two-in-ones. As we go into the holiday season, we're tracking more than 50 designs, or a 10 times increase. So what you see up on stage today is just the beginning of what you're going to see from announcements that start today, tomorrow, from our major OEMs, and extend over the next months and quarters. So great industry momentum, first in making things thin, then driving things to touch, and then finally getting the category to this new two-in-one. Now, I want to give a shout out to our engineers. They once again exceeded our expectations on power. When we invented the Ultrabook category, we cut the power in half from 35 watts to 17 watts. At CES, we talked about getting to 10 watts and even a 7 watt, down to 7 watt scenario design point. And what we're talking and announcing today is actually that we've reached better than that at a 6 watt STP with our product line. So simply put, we have created, and our engineers have created, one of the most scalable architectures in Intel's history, from a teraflop to fanless designs on Intel Core. You know, in 1997, Intel worked on building the largest supercomputer in the world, called ASCII-Red. It was 9,298 Pentium Pros operating at 200 megahertz. Its room to build that computing power was 144 square meters. And today, with the new Iris Pro graphics and our 4th generation Core processor, we're putting a teraflop on a notebook chip for the first time. So this isn't just about chips. I wanted to show a product here out of Taiwan, MSI. You know, even the most extreme gamer loves a supercomputer in their lap. This is an amazingly thin MSI machine. It's using our new Iris family of graphics. It's a 17-inch design quad-core, and it is a teraflop supercomputer in your lap. 300 gigaflops of CPU and 700 gigaflops of processor graphics. So an amazing design for the extreme gamer, amazingly thin and light for such a powerful device. At the same time, you know, you say, what can you do if you take down that Moore's Law curve to the other extreme? And we've been able to drive this down now to fanless based Ultrabooks. So what I wanted to show you is something that's exceeded our expectations. This is the North Cape 2 internal reference design from Intel. I've shown you this before. This is a 13-hour battery life platform for the industry. And it is a 2-in-1 detachable. So with a very simple detach mechanism here, I can literally pull that off. You got about 3 hours of battery life underneath the keyboard. And then here, if I can hold it up here, so you can get a feel for the thickness. No vents, no fans, completely quiet, with 10 hours all-day battery life in an amazing Windows 8 machine. Good stuff, huh? So the good news is this isn't just about reference designs. This is the first fanless core platform based on 4th generation core from HP. I wanted to give you just a quick perspective. Again, no vents or fans, incredibly thin, and available in the second half of this year. The best of a notebook and the best of a tablet, all in a design with great piece audio and everything else from HP. So we're seeing great fanless designs already coming to market, both reference designs and from our major OEMs. Congratulations to HP on this platform. Okay. So what I want to do is say, what are we building on top of this great hardware? Because at the end of the day, people buy amazing experiences. And as we've talked about before, touch will be a baseline for all 4th generation Ultrabooks, as well Intel wireless display. But I want to give you a feel for some of the things that the OEMs are innovating around with Intel's help, and I'll go through this in a few demonstrations as we go through the rest of the presentation. What we're going to demonstrate is near-field communication. A number of the OEMs are putting NFC into the platform, and today we're announcing with MasterCard a new MasterPass wallet that uses our identity protection technology and NFC to simply tap your credit card in an Ultrabook to pay for online transactions. You're going to see high-resolution displays like the Dell 2-in-1 that's a quad HD machine. You're going to see new gesture capability, being able to flick and touch from your screen onto large screen TVs, voice assistance and voice command and control going broad, new active styluses, and facial recognition. So a lot to go on with. Let's get started, and I'll show you what we mean by this. So obviously, one of the things we're incredibly proud of is just the graphics performance and the amount of die that we dedicated to graphics on this machine. When we went from 2nd generation core to 3rd generation core, we doubled the graphics. And I'm proud to say with the Intel Iris family, we've doubled the graphics again. And to put it in perspective, since 2006, when our CEO Paul Adolini got up and talked about us focusing on graphics and media, we've increased the graphics performance now 75 times. So, we've got great performance, and now we have a great brand. This, we believe, lets us go after about 80% or more of the entire discrete market, while consuming about 3 centimeters less of board space and being about 9 watts less in power. So let's take a look at what we mean of how we're competing with discrete solutions. If you can put these two up on the screen here today. So the first product we have is actually a 3rd generation core. If you can roll these up on the screen, please. And it has an NVIDIA 710M GeForce discrete graphics on it. So it's consuming 37 watts. The product on the right is Intel Iris graphics. And this is actually the first Ultrabook we're showing from the Intel Iris family. It's the Asus ZenBook Infinity. It's operating at 28 watts. So 9 watts less, 3 centimeters less of board space. And can anyone really tell the difference between the two? And I want to reiterate, this is our 28 watt CPU. This is not even showing you the Iris Pro, which is operating at 47 watts. So head to head with one of NVIDIA's highest volume discrete cards, and I think you'll see the performance is pretty fantastic. So congratulations to ASUS for bringing out Ultrabook class machines with Intel Iris graphics. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show is what we're doing with video conferencing. Now, we're in a collaboration, and we announced at the Intel Developer Forum in Beijing, a collaboration with Tencent. You know, put it in perspective, Tencent has more than 700 million users. 700 million users of QQ. And their video chat is growing at an astonishing rate. In fact, they have well over 30 million users of video. The problem is users haven't had access to 1.5 megabit per second bandwidth that's been required for HD video conferencing. So utilizing the Quick Assist features in the 4th generation core processor, we've worked with Tencent to optimize the pre and post processing, to optimize the stream and deliver double the experience, or a 720p HD experience, while only consuming a third of the bandwidth. So Dave, why don't you show us the difference in the experience that we're going to get between the two products?
Thanks. So what we have here is a demonstration between these two machines. And this really comes to highlight the 4th generation Intel Core's quality, performance, and power efficiency. So what I have here on my left is actually a typical machine. Actually, it features discrete graphics. And what it's showing here is Helen, who's calling in from her place in Taipei. As you can see from the image on the screen here, it's fairly dark. The colors are fairly muted. She waves her hand, does a 2-for-1. You can see there's a little bit of latency, a little bit of drag on here. If you go to the system to my right, that shows the power immediately of Intel 4th generation core processor. And it shows already 720p. It's very clear, the colors are very vibrant. You can make out all the different details. If you look at the text here, you can read that perfectly. You can look at the posters, all the details behind it. And when Helen is doing the gestures to talk about 2-in-1, raising the roof, you can catch all that effort. And a lot of it, again, is the power of 4th generation Intel Core for the performance, for the quality, for the power efficiency, and the graphics immediately.
And I noticed there's these black strips across the side. That's not by accident.
That is not by accident. Yes, this actually is in standard definition. So this is actually 360p compared to full 720p.
Great, and that's all in an Ultrabook convertible, so we can turn her upside down and put her down.
Of course, it's a 2-in-1, absolutely.
All right. Great, thank you very much. Thank you to Tencent for the leadership they've shown in driving high-definition video conferencing in one of our largest markets, China and beyond. Okay, next I wanted to give you up to date on voice. If you were at Tom Kilroy's keynote, you saw the amazing voice experience that we're delivering in English. Dell has really led the path here with that XPS 12, and we've been shipping the beta version of our nuanced Dragon Assistant on Dell.com for quite some time. Today we're announcing on behalf of Best Buy, the United States' largest US retailer, the intention for them to bring 4 OEMs and more than 10 designs into the marketplace with the nuanced Dragon Assistant for back to school this year. So the demonstrations that we've been showing you over the last several months and quarters are coming to reality. We're excited on behalf of Best Buy that they agree that voice is the next great big user interface. And you can see from Acer, Asus, Lenovo, and Toshiba, in addition to Dell, who's already been in the marketplace, the broad number of applications that you're going to be able to do command and control with. So you can post to Twitter, post to Facebook, do a Google search, search for a movie, search online shopping on Amazon. The capability of having this local on your PC, and as you saw in Tom's keynote, I think, the ability to call up music without having to go to the cloud means you're going to get an instant response. And again, without the need to wear a headset. We've been tuning these machines, running them through Intel certification labs. We're requiring dual array microphones on the 4th generation Core Ultrabooks. So basically we're putting 2 ears onto the Ultrabook versus 1, so that even in a kind of a relatively noisy environment, you'll be able to talk to your PC and get a good response without wearing that annoying headset. So congratulations to Best Buy for leading the charge into voice, and to the OEMs here with Dell included that are bringing voice to market, starting with back to school this year. Our commitment is to bring 9 languages into 27 countries by the end of the year. We're also partnering with iFlyTech for multiple Mandarin dialects to go into all the different parts of China as well. So The relationship with Nuance is our global partner, and iFlyTech specifically for Mandarin support. Okay, so there's a lot of interesting things that we can talk about what fourth generation core brings. But what I thought I'd do is really just kind of set up a cafe scene here and show you what you would expect for this two-in-one computing experience as we go into the holiday season of this year. So what we've done is we've brought our own little coffee shop here, and I want to show you the kinds of things you're going to be able to do in two-in-one computing as we get into holiday. So first of all, Art here is using the new Panasonic Let's Note Ultrabook 2-in-1. And unfortunately, I think we in Taiwan here have all just done our taxes, right? Well, Art's still doing his taxes, as you can see from the iMag shot here. Now this is an application that you have to download to run local on your PC. So this isn't something you can run out of the cloud. But obviously you typically would do your taxes using a keyboard and maybe interacting a little bit. But when he's done with his taxes, what he wants to do is convert that into kind of a new mode, maybe make a little bit of room for that muffin he has on the table. And what he's going to do is move that Ultrabook into, that two-in-one Ultrabook into what we call viewing mode. And now he's watching a high-definition movie. Now this system has 13 hours of battery life. So that's pretty good for what we call all-day battery life, right? But if you're like me and many of you, we don't work 13 hours, we work 24 hours, right? So what Panasonic done is actually created a hot swappable battery, and you can hot swap the battery and get more than 26 hours of battery life while still watching your movie. Amazing innovation by Panasonic. And of course you can put that down in tablet mode if you want it as well, all the way down, right? And just watch it as a tablet. So good stuff. Thanks and congratulations to Panasonic. Now Diana here is using the fourth generation core Sony Vaio Ultrabook 2-in-1. This is an amazing new product from Sony. There you have the #1 shipping 2-in-1 in Japan right now, and this is the next generation. Stay tuned for tomorrow where they're going to announce this product at their own press conference. But what I wanted to show you is something we call fast access login. We are on a mission to eliminate passwords from computing, and this is really part of delivering a new experience. Our vision is you are your password. The combination of your face and your voice authenticates you to everywhere you want to go. To log into Windows 8 and to get access to your favorite website. So this happens fast, but what you can see is as she just moves the camera into view, she's going to instantly log into Windows 8. Pretty cool, huh? No more passwords. And as we go into next year, we're going to make this secure for business, and we're already running a pilot with a number of people where you can log into VPN once and never have to use a password again. Now what she's doing is she's using the amazing display here to look at her photos of Taipei, and she can use clamshell mode to do that and edit it in Stylus. But what we found in our surveys is 76% of tablet users, 76% do not use their tablet in one-handed mode. They use it either with a keyboard and a stand because they have a cover, they in a viewing mode, or as you can see what Diana's doing now, she can just lay that flat and go directly to a tablet mode. And you see a lot of people using this. My 5-year-old lays on his stomach on his bed and uses his tablet in front of him, right? So this isn't just about one-handed mode. The other thing you're going to see here is she's using a new active stylus. And you're going to see active stylus designs coming across a broad range of 2-in-1 Ultrabooks. She can annotate this, she can do edits, she can cut and do even photo editing here, and just email it off to her friends and family. And what's excellent about the application she's using here is exactly convertible aware, or 2-in-1 aware. So what Intel and our partners are doing is we're making the applications know when you have a keyboard and a mouse, and you can have really small buttons. But the second you go into tablet mode, all the buttons get bigger because it knows that you're probably going to interface with that computer with your finger and with touch. So great innovation from Sony. We look forward to their announcing this product tomorrow. All right, next is Chris. And Chris is using the new Lenovo 4th generation, next generation Yoga design. The next generation Yoga is going to be thinner, lighter, and have a significantly better display. And what I wanted to show you is the first thing he's using is just holding his coffee cup in his hand, right? It's a little bit far away from his PC. So he's using a simple 2D gesture application from Point Grab to kind of go through the instructions of his game here in the cafe before he does it. But then he's going to play War Game Air Land Battle. That's a title from Focus Home Interactive. And this is actually a new touch-optimized game. And what he can do is he can move to tent mode. So he doesn't need the keyboard anymore, even though it's a beautiful backlit keyboard, new from Lenovo. He wants to get that screen much, much closer to him. And now he can run the entire game in tent mode with touch. And with 4th generation core, he doesn't have to compromise. On games like this, you're seeing 100% improvement in gaming performance versus the previous generation. So awesome stuff from Lenovo. Keep it up. Next generation Yoga available later this year. All right, not to be outdone, Mark is there with the Toshiba Protege Ultrabook 2-in-1, and as you can see, he's imported a bunch of videos onto his tablet using USB 3.0, something that's not available on all the world's tablets, right? So he's imported those videos there, and he can lean over to his friend there on the couch and show him what's going on. A very sleek, thin tablet, and touch-enabled application to show the video. But when he wants to go do some serious video editing, you probably want to get down to a keyboard and a touchpad. He can just attach that directly in, put it back down on his lap, and now he can do some serious editing in clamshell mode with the full performance of the 4th generation core for video editing. So awesome stuff, Toshiba Protege Ultrabook, sorry, available soon. Okay. And lastly, Dell with the XPS 12 is doing what a lot of people do, leaning back with a clamshell mode using an application to do online purchasing. So he's currently on the Rakuten website, and he's demonstrating the announcement we have with MasterCard today about them utilizing the MasterPass wallet with near-field communications and Intel identity protection technology. So how many people have purchased something online or tried to move money between your bank account? You get this annoying PIN and it has to get sent to your phone, then you have to enter it on the website, and it's kind of a bad experience, right? With Intel identity protection technology, we have a hardware key that protects your identity when you're doing this online shopping. So you can see when he checked out with the MasterPass, it identifies his system as IPT, or Intel Identity Protection Ready, and with one single button, he can check out. He takes his MasterCard credit card, taps it on the near-field communication, and he's done. He's purchased his bicycle. Now when he's done shopping, what's the great 2-in-1 experience? He's excited about his new bike and he's waiting. He can simply flip it into tablet mode, stay relaxed back and play the new game from Tencent, the Core Force, in pretty good, awesome mode. Much better than you see on typical tablets. Again, twice the gaming experience on 4th generation core. Good stuff showing near-field communication and IPT at work. All right, last but not least, we are adding wireless display into next generation Ultrabook. So this is the Dell XPS 12 that David has here, and you can see we're running multiple 1080p videos. We're today announcing a relationship with Samsung to put Intel Wide-Eye on the TV. And while I'm here in the cafe, guys, I'd like to show you what I just did on my trip. I can flick right up to the screen. Touch-based applications. I want to show horses. Pretty awesome stuff. 2-in-1 computing at its best from Intel. So with Samsung, I'll talk about this in a second, but today we have about 10 million TVs. We've announced relationships with LG, with TCL, with Toshiba, and with Samsung we plan to double that number by the end of the year. You'll see some exciting announcements from Microsoft related to wireless display. We have about 40 million notebooks with Intel Wide-Eye. We plan to double that by the end of the year. So a lot of good stuff here. Samsung announced in March, and it'll be available, these TVs, at holiday. So, in conclusion, I want to show you the 2-in-1 experience. You saw Art here with stand mode, flipping it back over into convertible mode. Diana, who was showing you in tablet mode now and going back and forth. Going from tent mode, flip around, the foldovers. Mark with the detachable, putting it back into the cradle. And then David, there in tablet mode, you can very simply flip it around to clamshell mode. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ultrabook 2-in-1. Okay. So there was a lot covered there, so let me try to summarize some of the announcements from today. First, new Ultrabooks will include touch and Intel wireless display as baseline features. MasterCard's MasterPass wallet is now available using Intel Identity Protection and available with Tap to Pay on multiple near-field communication NFC-enabled Ultrabooks. Samsung TVs with expanded Intel wireless display support joining TCL, LG, and Toshiba to double the number of TVs with Intel wireless display by the end of the year. New sensible facial login solutions. You saw it on the Sony product, but Asus today is also delivering a broad range of fast key products. Again, facial recognition across a broad range of the Asus product line. Expanded nuanced Dragon Assistant available for back to school from 4 OEMs across 10 designs, starting basically in a few weeks with back to school. And then immersive QQ video call, bringing high definition video content at a third the bandwidth through our relationship with Tencent. So a broad number of experiences coming beyond and above the 2-in-1 experience and the amazing graphics that we showed you. So what's next? Well, the road to the future starts today. In IDF, for our developer forum in San Francisco, in 2012, we introduced the Intel Perceptual Computing SDK. And since then, I'm excited to announce that over 11,000 downloads of that SDK have happened. One of the fastest, if not the fastest, software development kit set of downloads we've had in the history of Intel. So what are we going to do today? Well, today we're announcing a relationship with Creative around the Sense 3D camera. And this Sense camera is going to be delivered in retail around the world in the third quarter of this year, bundling applications in voice, gaming, video blogging, video collaboration, and even 7-point facial recognition. Today we're announcing a relationship with Portal 2, which is a game that sold over 4 million copies from Valve. We're announcing a perceptual pack. And what that means is you can take your existing Portal 2 game and you can basically now use hand gestures with this depth camera to basically replace what traditionally has been a $200 gaming controller. So, Art, why don't we show people what we can do with our relationship with Portal 2?
Sure, like you said, the Portal 2 perceptual pack is not a technology demo. It's a full game with full support for 3D gestures using the Sense 3D camera. So you can see I'm using my arm to move the view left and right. I can use my hand to pick up objects. I can move that back and forth. As I rotate my hand, you can see the object rotate. And this is really, like you said, this replaces what was an expensive 3D controller that gives you that full 3D experience. And you need that to be able to solve the complex puzzles that you have in the game. So you do something like that.
Good stuff.
So this comes free when anybody buys the Sense 3D camera. So fantastic experience.
How about one more example?
Sure. So a sneak peek for you video bloggers out there, an app that's under works. Let's say you wanted to do a video blog and you were someplace else, maybe on a keynote, and you wanted to be someplace else. Let's say you wanted to be in a newsroom, something like that. I think you can see me up on the screen. And since I'm in a newsroom now, I can get some professional graphics on the screen live from Computex.
So you can do that when you're at the beach or something, right? You just put that behind you and run your video conference.
So this is that virtual green screen effect. I could even, on the fly, bring in other pictures and tell a story. I was up in the Taipei 101 the other day when we had the earthquake right there around the 89th floor. Shaking back and forth. So anyways, this is just a couple examples of the many things you can do with a creative Sense 3D camera.
All right, awesome, awesome. The question is, what are we going to do from here? And today we have an exciting announcement to make. Intel Corporation with Intel Capital is announcing a $100 million Experiences and Perceptual Computing Fund. The purpose of this fund is to advance experiences around computing of all types, from phones to tablets to PCs, and especially in two-in-one devices, to bring human-like senses to computing. And all of the software that's written for this peripheral camera, today we have another announcement to make. And this could be something that we write about for many years to come. Very quietly, in the secret rooms of Intel, we've been investing in camera technologies. And this is what we believe will be the world's first 3D depth camera integration. And our commitment, along with multiple OEM partners, is to put this into notebooks, ultrabooks, and all-in-ones by the second half of 2014. So all of the software that the $1 million application fund is writing to, that the $100 million experiences fund is driving, and everything that's being written for the Creative Sense 3D camera, this will ultimately go into the bezels of the thinnest notebooks, ultimately tablets, and all-in-ones in the world to completely redefine computing. And oh, by the way, it takes a little bit of CPU performance as well. So we're excited. We're excited that customers like Dell and Lenovo are already committed to taking this 3D camera to market, putting application bundles around it, and we're super excited about where this takes us as we go into 2014. And just like you had 2D cameras that used to sit on top of your PCs, we are integrating this capability into next generation computing devices and tablets. Okay, what else is next? Well, we've talked a lot about the Silvermine architecture for tablets. And a few months ago, we talked about how we're bringing the Bay Trail M and Bay Trail D products to market for entry notebooks, for entry two-in-ones, and for all-in-ones. And we think that this drives everything we talked about from the bow wave of Ultrabook down into two-in-one computing as low as $399 by the holiday season. I wanted to show you just a few of the designs that are up and running here. So this is an internal reference design. It came out of the BYD team, but again, it's a Windows 8 running on a Bay Trail M. You can see the experience here can basically detach into a tablet and get put back together as a two-in-one computer. We have the same thing here running Android. So again, same kind of experience. Detached running the Android application, or OS. And then lastly, here's a demonstration Acer all-in-one system with, again, with Android running for an entry all-in-one experience. So as we talked about, while everything going into holiday, and the first focus of this presentation was fourth generation core, we see entry notebooks, entry two-in-ones, and all-in-ones down even in the $199 range for traditional clamshell devices as we go into the holiday season. And it's really about that bow wave that the Ultrabook is creating. Remember, we're not trying to just change everything in the world from a notebook to an Ultrabook. We're trying to have Ultrabook be aspirational, from thinner to touch-enabled to two-in-one to next-generation 3D and voice and wireless display. And Intel will offer operating system port of choice as demand requires it in the industry between Windows, Android, and Chrome on these class of devices. So, what does that mean for the installed base? There are more than 500 million PCs today that are over 4 years old. 4 years old or older, rather. More than 500 units, 500 million units. 4 years old or older. And finally, as Mike Fabus said, finally there's one processor that gives us what we want and what we need. That gives us a notebook when we want it and a tablet when we need it. We've truly reinvented computing in our opinion. From the 4-year-old laptop to what's available on the shelf today and over the next several months, you have products that are more than 50% thinner, more than 50% lighter, that have all-day battery life, to get work done almost twice as fast, that convert videos 23 times faster, Converting videos 4 years ago was probably just a science project. Now we do it on a regular basis. Plays popular games 26 times faster than the notebook you have. Wakes up and goes within 3 seconds with always on, always connected capability. With Intel Smart Connect, within 3 seconds of opening the lid of your Ultrabook, you'll get instant access with all of your email, your Facebook, your Twitter, downloaded and ready to go. You don't have to swipe down and wait for Facebook to update, or swipe down and wait for Twitter, and then Instagram, and every other social media application you have. That takes time. We're giving you now within 3 seconds, a 100% increase from last time, from 7 seconds to 3 seconds, the ability to get instant access to your data. And you can watch HD movies 3 times longer. On that flight from San Francisco to London, you can watch 3 full HD movies without having to change a battery. So we believe that the Ultrabook 2-in-1 is indeed going to start to reinvent computing, whether you're refreshing your tablet or you're refreshing your old notebook. So, I wanted to conclude by thanking Taiwan. You know, we launched this initiative in Computex 2011. We said now is the time to reinvent the PC platform again. And what you've seen is more mechanical and software innovation in the last couple of years than you've seen in the last decade. So what are our announcements, just to summarize today? First, 4th generation core, the first chip ever designed with the grounds up with the Ultrabook in mind. Launching today with platforms beginning to ramp June 2nd, 2 days ago, I guess. With Ultrabooks in the next couple months, and with vPro-based Ultrabooks towards the end of the year. We're delivering 2-in-1 computing with 4th generation core Ultrabooks, but augmented by Silvermont by the end of the year, down to $399 price points. And the Ultrabook 2-in-1, we truly believe, is a tablet when you want it and a laptop when you need it, with hopefully some amazing new experiences. So test it out, get into the showcase, get your hands on these devices. I'm sure you'll be excited. Thank you very much.
Yes,